everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Amber Rose, also known as the Religious Hippie. You can basically follow me on any social media platform or just type in thereligioushippie.com and get straight to my website. So today is a special video due to the fact that it's coming out on Sunday instead of Tuesday. There will still be a video coming out on Tuesday, but because Tuesday is the feast of St. Nicholas, I decided to put this video out a little early, so then that way you guys have some time to prepare for the feast of St. Nicholas instead of this video coming out on the day, because a lot of the stuff we do to prepare for St. Nicholas, we do on December 5th, not actually on the feast day of St. Nicholas. So, with that being said, let's get into the video. Now, I'm sure many of you are already familiar with the story of St. Nicholas, but for those who aren't, I am going to give you a brief summary, as brief as I could have made it, about St. Nicholas and who he was and why we have the traditions we do today because of him. St. Nicholas was born to two devout Catholic parents, and he was their only child. Unfortunately, his parents died when he was very young, and so he went to go live with his uncle, who was a bishop of Potera. After living with his uncle and growing in devotion to the Catholic faith, Nicholas was ordained a priest by his uncle and began his amazing works of charity. The most common story of St. Nicholas, which I'm sure all of you guys are familiar with, is when a man lost all of his money and could no longer provide for his daughters, so he ended up having to hand them over to prostitution. As soon as Nicholas got word of this, he gathered together 3 bags of gold and threw them into the man's house to pay for the daughter's dowry. Shortly after, the daughters were married, and it's a very happy ending, but that is one of the most popular stories. Also, the fact that he was known to combat the Arianism heresy back in the day. Like, they said that he punched Arius in the face and he was almost like excommunicated for it, but then he was reinstated. There was that whole thing too that he's very well known for, but this other story about the daughters is one of his more popular works of charity. Nicholas then went to Murat, which is in Turkey, and he just went there to visit, but as soon as the priests and the people got word of this, they decided to elect him as their new bishop. However, during this time, the Romans were still running rampant, and they were persecuting Christians left and right. They tortured and imprisoned St. Nicholas until Constantine rose to power. Once released from prison, Nicholas continued his works as bishop. St. Nicholas is the patron saint of bakers, children, coopers, sailors, fishermen, merchants, broadcasters, the falsely accused, repentant thieves, brewers, pharmacists, archers, pawnbrokers, Russia, Greece, Moscow, and Amsterdam. He's the patron saint of a lot. In the 800s, St. Nicholas was officially recognized as a saint, and in the 1200s, French Catholics actually began celebrating Bishop Nicholas Day on December 6th. In fact, many countries in Europe would celebrate the feast of Sinterklaas, which is the Dutch pronunciation of St. Nicholas. People would begin this tradition usually on December 5th, and on December 5th, in anticipation for the actual feast day of St. Nicholas, people would celebrate by sharing candies and chocolate letters. They would share riddles and little gifts, and then children would put out shoes with carrots and hay in them to feed the saint's horses. I'm sure that probably sounds very familiar to you guys. Obviously, we get Santa Claus from the Dutch pronunciation, but I just think the story in the background of St. Nicholas is wonderful, and in case you didn't know that, that was a little tidbit of it. So now, how do we celebrate St. Nicholas's Day? Now, the most common one I've seen, and one that I've grown up doing, is putting our shoes out and waiting for little treats on December 5th. So basically, you put your shoes by the door, and then on December 6th in the morning, you wake up and there are little goodies in your shoe. Now, I know that this is more of a kid thing, I get that, but I also think it's a really fun tradition for teenagers and young adults and elderly. Like, there are so many cool stocking stuffers that you can get people these days that I just think it's a wonderful tradition for all ages. It's not just for kids. Another thing you can do is you can make Sinterklaas cookies. So these are basically a Dutch cookie. They're very spicy though. So if you don't like spicy things, maybe just make sugar cookies in the shape of St. Nicholas. Just a thought. I don't think St. Nicholas is going to be judging you in heaven, being like, wow, she really can't handle her spice. Obviously, we should go to Mass and we should ask for St. Nicholas's intercession. I've been doing the St. Nicholas Novena personally, and it started, I'm on day, well, when Sunday happens, it'll be day 8. But basically we do a novena 9 days before St. Nicholas's feast day. That's something you can definitely do next year, but I love the St. Nicholas novena. He's a wonderful intercessor, and you should absolutely take advantage of that during this feast day. Pray for those in need, especially the homeless, the people who are poor, those who can't afford to put food on their table, those who lost their jobs this year because of the recession, unborn babies and mothers who are contemplating abortion, that they choose life. Anybody who might be in need, we should really be keeping them in our prayers during this time, especially those suffering from mental disorders, because during the holidays, it flares up a lot. So praying for those who are in need is a great way to celebrate St. Nicholas's Day. Next, you can make some tasty treats and candies for friends, family, or neighbors. This is always a fun thing to do. You guys can either make the Sinterklaas cookies. I'm totally probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's like Sinterklaas, like it's like class. So, yeah. But anyways, you can definitely make them some cookies like that, or you can just give them some candy canes, you know, just like a sweet treat. I think that's always really fun. One of my favorite traditions growing up is that we would hang candy canes on our Christmas tree during St. Nicholas's feast day. Now, we have not yet set up our Christmas tree, so don't know if I'm going to get to that. But as a kid, I always enjoyed doing that. It's just, I don't know why, but it was just fun hooking a candy cane on a tree, because the cane represents his staff, and then the white represents the body, and then the red represents the blood of Christ. Absolutely read a book about St. Nicholas, or just read up on him in general. You can find a lot of information online. There's some great books on him, and if you have kids, picture books are a great way to kind of get them ready for St. Nicholas's Day and really know the true meaning behind it and who St. Nicholas is. Volunteer at a soup kitchen, or just volunteer in general. It's a great way to help those in need this year. One of my favorite traditions is writing an encouraging note to somebody who's in need. Maybe it's your priest, maybe it's your parent, maybe it's, you know, writing letters to a nursing home during this time, or a friend or a family member. It's just a wonderful way to show that we're still thinking of them and that we love them, is by writing a very heartfelt note. And last but not least, my last tip is to donate either your time, money, or supplies, if you have supplies, to a crisis pregnancy center. I think it's a wonderful way to give back and really help children and mothers in need. So I just think that that's a wonderful way we can celebrate St. Nicholas's Day. And with all that being said, that is it for this video. I hope that this helped you guys maybe understand St. Nicholas's Day a little bit better, and hopefully you guys will celebrate it this year if you haven't in the past. I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday, and I will talk to you on Tuesday. Bye!